Hey, this is the C&D channel. I'm Chris, and this is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my post-fight analysis for Bellator 45. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank my sponsors, GoBusiness123.com, DeMarca Sunglasses Boutique in Laguna Beach, and DeMarcaUSA.com. Okay, let's get right to it. They only showed like 3 fights on the main card, so there aren't too many things to really talk about. As far as the undercard or the prelims went, they had Joseph Abercrombie beating Ben Parpart. Rene Nazare beat Calvin Hackney. Both of these are by rear naked choke in the first round. Luis Santos beat Nikolai Curry by unanimous decision. And Tim Ruberg beat Mike Flanagan by unanimous decision. And then Sean Jordan beat John Hale by TKO in the first round as well. Okay, the first fight of the night was Sam Alvey beating Carl the Psycho Amasu by split decision. Winner of this gets to be in the next Bellator tournament with guys like Alexander Shlemenko. Of course, Hector Lombard's a champ there. Geez, I'm missing a lot of guys. There's a good cast. One thing that really stood out to me, Alvey's, real smiley type guy, hot as hell, supermodel girlfriend. He did impress me though. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not saying he should have lost. I actually have him winning 2 rounds of 3. His posture when he was in top control and guard wasn't very impressive. I mean, he just stuck his head down there. He got tied up. Even his ground and pound down there. I mean, I wasn't very impressed with him. His stand up, looking to counterpunch. I mean, I don't want to take too much away from Alvey here, but I kind of felt that Amasu kind of lost the fight for himself more than Alvey being the better fighter. Granted, Amasu didn't look good just waiting in. I mean, he'd just like rush forward and get countered a couple times. He got caught top control, and then he got like mount position and got swept, so he's back in guard like 2 or 3 times. Like I said, it's a case where like I honestly didn't see a lot in Sam Alvey here, and I think Carl Amasu, kind of beat himself a lot of times by getting swept, waiting in, throwing in punches and stuff like that. Obviously, I picked Amasu to win. Alvey ended up winning. It was a fair decision too. I thought Alvey should have won, but I can't see him beating like Shlemenko. I can't see him beating a lot, or Brian Baker. I can't see Sam Alvey, beating a lot of those guys. I was very unimpressed with him. Excuse me. I don't have anything against the guy personally. It's just from what I saw from the fight, he didn't really impress me in his striking, in his wrestling, or in his ground. I didn't see anything with him that shows that he can really do much in this middleweight tournament coming up, compared to some of the other guys that are on the roster, especially. Next fight of the night, Patricio Pitbull Freire beat Daniel Strauss by unanimous decision. Very impressed with Patricio here. Good man. I always like it when a guy that you kind of know for stand up, he has good jiu-jitsu, starting to wrestle. I mean, you're just giving the opponent another thing to look at, man. I'm really glad he's fighting Joe Warren again. I think by adding in the takedown attempts and whatnot, I think it also opened up Patricio to do outside leg kicks, to be perfectly honest. I kind of think the more looks you give, the more the other guy can't predict what you're going to do and capitalize on it. You know, when Strauss was going in for the takedown, Patricio would try and duck under and go for the double or something, and it was just really good to see. And he's only 23, and this guy is like already has great stand-up, great jiu-jitsu, and now his takedown defense is already really good, but now he has I think he's always had offensive wrestling, but I'm glad to see him use offensive wrestling against another wrestler. It's kind of like what BJ Penn did to John Fitch for the first 2 rounds. It's like, oh my God, BJ Penn's wrestling the wrestler, Fitching Fitch, you know. Freire is, wrestling the wrestler. I love seeing that, just adding that to your game so early on too, good stuff. Daniel Strauss, game guy, man. This guy, huge for his weight class. Great cardio though, good wrestler. He didn't really put on the pressure as much as in other fights, but against a guy like Pitbull, it's easier said than done, especially since he's looking to counterpunch. His defensive wrestling's really good. I mean, what can you do? That's the thing. When Patricio Pitbull fought Joe Warren the first time, I honestly thought he won. He should have won a split decision, to be perfectly honest. I didn't feel that Joe Warren did a lot in the second round. When he did get on top, he kind of just did enough to stay on top. Whereas Pitbull was getting the better to stand up. Got an arguable 10-8 round in that first round also. I think in a rematch, it's all Pitbull. Joe Warren, I mean, especially against Marcos Galvão, he's very he's starting to strike more, but he's still kind of one-dimensional about his Greco. It's like you kind of know that he's gonna push forward and go for the really force these Greco takedowns and stuff in MMA. He's gonna get kneed on the way, and he might get striked at as well. And then Patricio was really good in that first round against Joe Warren, stopping takedowns too. I just think you got 5. I think it's gonna be 5. You got 5 rounds now. Unless Patricio is gonna gas. I don't. And early, I just think Patricio has more tools to finish. I think he can stop a lot of what Joe Warren offers as well. Okay. And finally, new light heavyweight Bellator champion was crowned as Christian Tom Mpumbu. Beat Richard Hale by TKO in the 3rd round. Funny story with this fight, actually. I remember at the end of the 2nd round, beginning of the 3rd round, I was watching this with a friend, and he did amateur boxing. I do spar. I go for him for advice myself. And I was actually asking him. It's like, hey. One thing he was noticing is what the announcers were noticing. Richard Hale, he punches, drops his hands, and he backs up kind of not laterally too. So I'm like, hey, what if Mpumbu throws the overhand right? And then my buddy's like, yeah, he should do that. Let Hale throw his stuff, let him back up with his hands down, and Mpumbu should step in and throw the overhand right. And lo and behold, in the 3rd round, Mpumbu stepped in and threw the overhand right to knock him down and finish him with ground and pound on top. Good win by Mpumbu. I was really cheering for the guy too. The Bellator Light Heavyweights, I mean, the fact of the matter is Strikeforce and the UFC has the best light heavyweights. I mean, guys like Linderman, Richard Hale, they're solid enough, Daniel Gracie, I mean, they're solid enough, I guess, but some of them, they're just, I don't know, they seem like the best that light heavyweights that are there, that that are offered, but they don't seem that don't really seem that good. They're kind of Carpenter's like that too. They come off kind of sloppy to me, I guess, especially in their stand-up. Christian Pumu, you know, he came off as like the most technical guy out of that group in the stand-up and whatnot, and he hits hard. Good one for him. He's 34. I don't know who else. There's guys out there for Bellator to get, obviously. I don't think they're gonna find you know, some really high-level guys, just because Strikeforce in the UFC has so many good light heavyweights as it is. It'd be nice to see some new faces there, you know. But I can see in Pumu generally, unless they get some amazing guys, I think I'll just keep fighting guys around that level personally. So, you know, we'll see how he does. You know, he's one of the smaller light heavyweights. He doesn't cut weight, obviously, but he is pretty quick. He's pretty light on his feet. He's tall, so while the other, like a lot of guys actually are like bigger than him, at least he's not like short for the weight class or anything. You know. So good one from him. Really glad he won. I was really rooting for Pumu to win this one. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my Bellator 45 post-fight analysis. If you have any comments or anything, please leave them. If you want to subscribe to the channel, add me as a friend or anything, go right ahead. Yeah, so that's it for MMA for you. Thank you very much.